Good afternoon, everyone. So, in today's class, we're going to talk about interest. Now, let's go to introduction. Choosing a career in a particular stream or profession right at the beginning has a long-lasting impact on a student's future. So, it is very important for any student to choose the subject carefully from various subjects according to their interests. So often we hear students saying, I am interested in literature, I am not interested in science, and some say that I'm interested in science, not in literature. Interests are the special traits of personality of a person which are very important in educational and vocational sphere. These find expression with liking and disliking, preference or indifferences. As soon as students reach at the 10th standard, some kind of pressure of choosing a career path lingers in the mind. At this time, there's a need of guidance in selection of subject. So interests are to some extent related to educational and vocational selection. Interests indicate adjustments of personality. The knowledge of child's interest is very important in educational and vocational guidance as it helps in planning, and also educational and vocational planning does not depend upon his abilities and aptitude, but plans based on his interest, right? And in order to be fruitful, we need these interest tests, as this interest test reveals the interest and disinterest of a person in a particular work. This is interest test is very important for them who enter in some high vocation. At this time, there's a need of guidance in selection of subject. This research uh, uh, there are lots of research paper going on in highlighting the interests of the secondary school students in selection of various subjects according to their interests, right? So it's very, very important to know about what are your interests, what do you like to do, what are you mainly uh, into it, and what you mostly like to do in your free time, and that thing it bring happiness to you or not. So as a student or as a teacher and a counselor, it's very, very important to know the interests so that it will be easy for the teachers to guide the students and the people who are in need of guidance and counseling. So let's see the meaning and definition of interest. It is often believed that a strong interest in a task, whether in school or work, is one of the essential factor in the achievement of the best result, right? For us, in order to get the best result, we have to make sure that we are interested in doing that. So only when we are interested at that particular task, then only we will be able to perform well, and then we will be able to achieve what we really wanted at it, right? So according to Bingham, he has expressed himself that interest is a tendency to become observed and an experience and continue with it. So when you have interest, you will like to continue at what you do because that is what you love, that is what you want to do, right? So even Stott, he used interest as a form of subjectivity, which denotes the effective or cognitive aspect of experiences. So according to Driver, he said interest is the disposition, it is dynamic aspect. So here basically interest uh is a is a factor, or I would say it's a motivating force which force an individual to perform better in a task given to him. So let's see another slide. Even according to Strong, interest is an intermediate indicator of success. Yes, it's correct. So basically here interest is like a motivating force, it's like a factor or an indicators of our achievement, of our result. So a person who are not interested in performing any task, that means he will not be able to achieve a good result. So the same thing here, a person who are interested in doing some particular task in which he loves to do it, then definitely he will perform at his best, and he will make sure that he will bring laurels to the society and to his family, and many more, right? So interest in short is a behavior orientation towards certain object, activities, or experience. It is an expression of our likes and dislikes, or our attractions and aversions. Interests are conditioned stimuli related to goal objects and expressed as like or dislike of activities, object, characteristic, or people. So here interest basically uh, is a behavior orientation. It's like when you are interested in singing, you will basically show it in your behavior. You will try to sing, you will write song, you will compose song, you will play those instruments, and so whenever you like anything, when you are interested in anything, it will shows in your behavior, right? In your behavior. So from your behavior we can say that, okay, you are interested in playing basketball, you are interested in playing volleyball, you are interested in playing guitar, you are interested in playing many things, right? You are interested in cooking and so on. So it actually is like a conditioned stimuli which is related to goal objects. So here is interest, which is an intermediate indicator of success according to Strong. Now let's see the characteristic of interest. On the basis of above statements, the following characteristics are found in interest. So what is the first characteristic of interest? It is a part of personality. Correct. So uh, interest is a part of personality, it's one of a part of a personality, and it is shaped by heredity and environment. So you can see that around you, like those children whose parents are good cricketer, they will prefer to be a cricketer later on. And now just look at the example of Cristiano Ronaldo, his son now he is also interested in the same line as his father. He wants to become a footballer, right? So look at the film industry. All those family who come from, I mean, not, I'm not saying all, some of those actors who are currently active, they are the daughters, the granddaughter of the uh, actors, right? So I would say that this interest, it has been shaped by heredity and environment. So you have to understand here. So people, you can see that now, since your father is interested in farming, you are also automatically interested in farming. If your father is interested in uh, doing some carpentry work, you are also somehow acquire that skill because you inherit that skill from your father. So that is why you are also show some interest in that. So that is there some of the example I have given you. I think by now you should be clear about this interest that is shaped by heredity and environment. And the next one is vocational and non-vocational interest exist side by side, right? So number 4, it is not necessary that interest be related to aptitude and ability. So aptitude is a it's like a skill that you are good at only at that particular thing. Like no one will be good at it except, I mean, like if you perform, you will outperform other people. That is aptitude. Okay, like and then this interest is something like you're doing out of what you love, what you like. That is interest. Okay, so which is not necessary that interest be related to aptitude and ability. Number 5, with age advancing, the variety of interests disappear. So as you go on from one level to another level, from one stage to another stage, the different variety of interest that you have when you were small, and then you pass to the teenage level, then adult, so the interests change, right? So suppose now when you are all still you are adolescent, some of you are still adolescent, and some of you are already past the early stage of adulthood. So some of the interests that you are interested in during your teenagers or during your childhood, it has been changed. I mean, like you are not interested anymore in eating biscuit, you are not interested anymore in playing around with for example with your friends, or maybe you are no more interested in watching or doing some other thing, watching serials and so on. So your interest is shifting from one stage to another stage, right? So here they never become permanently fixed. Yes, this is true. So you get this point straight, that interest is not permanent. It has never been become permanently fixed, and there is a constant shaping of the detailed pattern, but broad line of interest remain unchanging. So thus interests are important in their own right, and they represent a trait distinctly different from other traits. Their role in the performance and achievement of any kind is no less significant than that of other relevant traits. So basically interest is a part of personality or a traits which guide us, or which help us in performing a task in a better way to achieve a good result. And if we don't show any trust into any task which have been given, then we will not be able to perform well at that task, and then we will not achieve success. And also these interests, it changing as we go from one stage to another stage. But of course I'm not saying that you will forget, or you will not get back the interest which you have when you were small, right? Some people, when they have that interest in doing that thing, that when they're small they can again you know uh go back to that. And then I mean, so when I say go back, means like you will pick up that same interest that you have during your childhood and make that interest when you are in adulthood, and then you feel like, okay, this is what you really want to do. So basically that is interest. Let's see the purpose of interest testing. Interest testing is done to achieve some purposes. So the first widely used interest inventory was the strong vocational interest blank, developed in the year 1927 by E.K. Strong. The original test was designed only for men, but later they also developed for women in the year 1933. In 1974, the Strong test was merged into Strong Campbell Interest Inventory, which was further revised in the year 1981. The test contains 325 activities, subject, etc. Takers of the test are asked to whether they like, dislike, or are indifferent to 325 items. So basically, number one, the purpose of interest testing is to provide teachers and counselor with information regarding the students' preference and aversions, which will help them acquire better understanding of students and their problems. So here it's very, very important for an individual to take this interest testing, so that it will give an indications to the teacher and counselor how to guide, how to provide information, or how to help out an individuals to be in the right place, in the right job, in the right direction. And also number two, to help the students in identifying and clarifying their interests in terms of demands of varied courses and career, and choose work and experience consistent with their interests. So why there is a need for interest testing? Because it helps students in identifying their interests and choose the course according to their interest and career, right? So these are the two interest testing that has been done to achieve some of the various purposes. So let's see the next point. To enable teachers, counselor, and parents to know the kinds and intensity of students' interest, and assist him to prepare his educational and vocational plans consistent with his interest. I don't know how many parents they have done interest testing to the child before they actually guide their children which course to take, in which career they should be, and whether they have to take this seriously or not. But here, without doing that interest testing also, I think the parents, they can see their own children in which they are interested at, right? And most of the time parents, they make a lot of mistake without asking their children first, what are you interested at, what do you like to do, and what are your plans. So most of the time they decide the career for the children, and the children, they out of pressure, fear, so they listen to what their parent wants them to do, and basically landed up in not performing well in the career. Just see the example of Three Idiots with that young man who want to become a photographer, but then his father wanted him to become an engineer, and then out of his respect and fear for his father, he went on continue to do his engineering in that college. But then later on he come to find out, I mean, like, of course he did know his interest, but then he you know, I would say he suppressed all his interests in his subconscious mind and then go out there. But then thankfully there's another friends of him who recognize his interest and making him understand that he should actually become a photographer because that is what he loves to do, not engineering. So that is why it's very, very important for the teacher and the counselor to know exactly what the students want and what is his interest at before they put him or her into any courses, before they experience any disappointment. The number four, to help channelize the energies of the youth in different directions. And number five, it to help in the selection of the right person for the right work, and does save frustration and happiness and disappointment in the lives of an individual and increase productive capacity of individual. So we have come to the conclusion of this small topic, interest. So interest is basically a behavior orientation towards certain objects, activities, or experience. It is an expression of our like and dislike, or attractions and aversion. It has a special role in personality makeup of an individual. Interest is different from aptitude. It is a trait duly recognized as somewhat unique and distinctive in its own way. Yes, so here I would like to tell every one of you listening at me right now to kindly find out what are your interests, what are you are good at, and before it's too late for you, because most of the people around the world, they have problem with uh, performing and giving good result because they do not know themselves well, they do not know what they are interesting at it, right? And it's very, very important for all of you to take a keen interest in finding out you are what you love to do, what you want to do in your life, without looking around you like what your parent wants, what your sibling wants, and many more. So to avoid any frustration, any depression, anxiety, or a feeling of unhappiness, it's very, I mean, this is a very, I would say, a very good time for you to realize, to recognize yourself, to identify yourself. But I mean, if you are finding some problem in identifying yourself, who you are, I think it's very good if you just go and sought help from any counselor or any teacher who are professional in helping you to, in order for you to save time and to be able to perform well in your future life. So with this, I would like to end my session on interest, and the next class we're going to talk about achievement tests and personality tests. So with this, I would like to also tell you to kindly listen to all the this PPT uh, slide, and if you have any problem, you can always contact me in WhatsApp. With this, I would like to say thank you. So thank you, and meet you in the next class.